What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we've got some awesome topics for you guys, so let's go ahead and get right into it. And we're starting off with a big acquisition from Nintendo, and they have finally entered into an agreement to acquire 100% of the amazing developer Next Level Games. This studio is out of Vancouver, so they're Canadian based, and that will make them a wholly owned subsidiary of Nintendo officially, which might come to a surprise to a lot of people because a lot of you guys probably already thought that Nintendo owned them, like Retro Studios or like Monolith Soft, but that was not the case. But now we have the official confirmation that Nintendo will be purchasing them, and the acquisition will be closing on March 1st. Now, Next Level Games has had a long history with Nintendo. They have done so many different games together for like the past 20 years. It goes way back. Some of my favorite games that they've made when it comes to Next Level is Super Mario Strikers for the GameCube, Super Mario Strikers Charged. I don't like that one as much, but you know, it's there. You also have Punch Out for the Wii, which was outstanding. Absolutely love that game. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, love that game on the 3DS. Metroid Prime Federation Force, not so much on that one, but Luigi's Mansion 3, very good. So they have a long history of making games with Nintendo. They have very few games that they've made outside of Nintendo. Actually, there's like a few different ones, but nobody really cares about them. They're just kind of like forgotten games, but they have made games outside of Nintendo. But I think the time was right here, and we'll talk about that because this goes a little bit deeper. This almost has some shades of Rare. I mean, it's not as complicated, and it's not as, probably not as much money as Rare was bought for, but there's some shades of Rare in terms of the circumstances which brought about this, which I will talk about. So here is the full, I would just say, like, information, I guess, the announcement of it. Next Level Games is a video game development company based in Vancouver, Canada, which has nearly 2 decades of experience creating video games for various Nintendo console platforms. More recently, Next Level Games has worked exclusively with Nintendo in developing software titles for the Nintendo 3DS and Nintendo Switch systems, including titles in the critically acclaimed Luigi's Mansion series of video games. Next Level Games shares are currently held entirely by its owner-directors and employees. A number of owner-directors recently determined that the time is right for them to sell their shares, and Next Level Games therefore began exploring potential sale transactions. Completion of the acquisition will serve to secure the availability of Next Level Games development resources for Nintendo, including development expertise, as well as facilitate an anticipated improvement in development speed and quality by enabling closer communication and exchange of staff with the Nintendo development team. The acquisition is expected to close on March 1st, 2021, pending satisfaction of all relevant terms and conditions, including shareholders' approval, regulatory approval under the Investment Canada Act, and other customary closing conditions. So there's a couple things that are important to note here with this one that I don't see many people talking about, although I've seen just a little bit. So if you look at it there, they said a number of owner-directors recently determined that the time is right for them to sell their shares, and they were exploring ways in terms of potential sales. So very similar to kind of how like Rare was like, you know, we're kind of looking at what we're going to do here, right? And I think that this time, instead of Nintendo just allowing that company to seek out somebody else to purchase them, Nintendo probably saw that the price wouldn't be too bad. And I think that Next Level Games wanted to be bought by Nintendo. They wanted to be secured by Nintendo. They went into like a long relationship. I know there was like a 10-year like second party, quote unquote, that's not an official term, but second party type of deal that they made with Nintendo a while back, you know, to make games for Nintendo platforms. So Next Level Games wanted that security as well, didn't want to have to worry about, hey, how are we going to do this, or we're kind of running this, and now being under Nintendo, they do have that security, but they were looking to be purchased, okay? It's not like Nintendo was rushing out there to buy them or anything, because they've had a long relationship with them and didn't buy them. Nintendo does not try to go out and seek and purchase companies. They simply just hire people, and then they can just become within Nintendo, right? Or they'll license, or they'll pay for other people to make certain games. But Nintendo is not a Microsoft. They're not an EA. They don't go out there to try to gather up studios and all of that. They just don't do that. That's just not their, you know, MO. So with this one here, they were looking to, and Nintendo said, hey, you know what? We can probably make a good decision here just to make sure that they don't go to somebody else. Look, they just had Luigi's Mansion, which did absolutely incredible on the Nintendo Switch. They're probably already looking at developing some other things as well. So I do think that it was a good call for Nintendo to do that. So they didn't slip off to somebody else. Now, would somebody else actually pick them up for a good enough price or for whatever? I mean, that's yet to be seen. Really, all they're known for the most part, is developing Nintendo games. And their games outside of Nintendo titles haven't been anything that's been significant or amazing or anything like that. So would they have gotten sold to somebody? I mean, probably somebody like Amazon or like Apple or somebody would have probably picked them up and they'd be doing like mobile games or cloud or something like that. And we probably would have never heard about them again. Kind of like some of the other companies out there that have been purchased by some of these other ones that don't have like significant games under their belt, like Insomniac in terms of what they did or stuff like that. You know, it's only tied to like one studio. So, I mean, maybe there would have been somebody, but to me, Nintendo just said, hey, you know what, let's just go ahead and take care of this. Let's just buy them. They probably weren't extremely expensive for Nintendo, considering that all of their hits are under Nintendo's IP. So it's not like Rare, right? Rare actually had some of their own IP that they got to take with them, whereas like Next Level probably wouldn't have been taking really much anything. They probably have something that I don't know about that I can't recall off the top of my head, but they probably wouldn't have been taking much, you know. So yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense for Next Level Games. It makes sense for Nintendo. And now at this point, now we just need like the Mario Strikers. Mario Strikers Switch just needs to happen at this point. I mean, I thought that it was going to happen beforehand, but Mario Strikers definitely needs to happen. And I think that this acquisition was obviously going to help out, like Nintendo says, with communication. Now that you're actually first party owned, I mean, it's a bit different in terms of what you have access to, what information you have, computer systems. So all the back end stuff that's going to speed up maybe the process for these things, this can be taken care of now with this acquisition, you know. So that's good. It's a good thing. So what do you guys think about this when it comes to Next Level Games and Nintendo finally becoming one at this point? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, guys. We have a brand new Monster Hunter Rise digital event 2021 going down. That is tomorrow, January 7th at 6 a.m. PST. And I already do not like Capcom for that. So that will be 14 GMT as well for all my European peeps out there. That's 9 a.m. Eastern time for the East Coast boys, and Central boys here in America, that will be 8 a.m. Central time. So pretty good stuff all around, man. I do think that this Monster Hunter digital event is going to be a lot of fun. Now, I did say that I would stream the event, this Monster Hunter Rise digital event. I said that I'd stream it, but then again, I looked at the time and it's 6 a.m. So if your boy wakes up, if I can get up and get everything set up and set together and put ready to do this streaming event, then I will live react to the event. If I can't, well, oh well, I just can't do it, and we will cover it on the OJ live stream. So I'm excited to see this because I want to like Monster Hunter. This franchise, probably out of all the franchises out there, you know, that I'm not into, this is the franchise that I literally want to like. I want to like Monster Hunter. I want to get into it. I want to be a fan. But every single time that I play Monster Hunter, it's just like, I'm not sure if I like that about the game, or I don't really like the focus on the multiplayer this much, or like I don't like this aspect of it. So I'm going to try my best. Seriously, this will be the best effort, because I've done it on so many different platforms when it comes to Monster Hunter, going all the way back to the freaking PS2, okay? So I will try my best to get into Monster Hunter Rise. And this show, I'm going to watch it regardless. Whether I live stream it or not, I will watch the show, I will cover it. I have already bought the special edition of Monster Hunter Rise, so the game's copped 100%. But I want to make sure that I do my best to try to get into this franchise. And if I don't like it, I don't like it. But this might be like the last one. This is like the last hurrah, okay, for Monster Hunter for me. If this one, like, if I don't get into this one, man, I'm done. I think I'm done. So I'm going to try. We'll see how it works. Even though it's on the Switch, I can grind on the go. I can also play on the TV. You know, it gives me like that dual factor. You have the mobility, you have the dog, you have all sorts of cool stuff that to me really helps out, like with the game in terms of the speed of the game and everything. So we'll see how this one works out. Monster Hunter Rise digital events. It's going down 6 a.m. PST January 7th. So I will be covering that. So what do you guys think about Monster Hunter Rise? What are you planning or hoping to see? What do you want out of this event for all my hardcore Monster Hunter fans? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the final topic here, guys. We have some more analysts in 2021, and we don't get the party started until we have a Switch Pro expectation from the analysts in terms of forecasting that. So yeah, it's already started up, which they talked about it last year and all that, but this is the year. But the more interesting thing, or just as interesting, they're saying, a lot of these analysts are saying that the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, or the Xbox Series consoles, will be outsold by the Nintendo Switch, and some even say it's going to be boosted by a new Nintendo Switch Pro model. So a lot of analysts are forecasting a strong year for Nintendo, and I think that that's like the general consensus right now, that Nintendo's momentum is just going to keep on snowballing from the amazing 2020 that they had here. So GameIndustry.biz had the article on this one here. Two analysts, you have Ampere analyst Piers Harding Rolls and Dr. Serkan Toto from Kantan Games. Been following him for a long time. I always like to make sure that I talk about what he has to say, because he's actually a legitimate analyst that gets most of the stuff right when it comes to it, and he uses logical stuff and facts and all that, which not that there aren't other ones that do, but I mean, you know, game analysts these days. But let's talk about this. So, quote, I expect Nintendo's Switch family of devices to be the best-selling consoles again in 2021, following a very strong 2020, said Harding Rolls. Last year, I was unconvinced there would be a new flagship model Switch in 2020, but it makes more commercial sense to release an updated version in 2021. I currently have an updated version of the Switch in my forecast for 2021. Harding Rolls expects Switch to approximately sell around 24 million units this year, combined with the PS5 and Series X and S combined sales to hit about 25 million. So pretty close, right? He said that the Nintendo Switch is pretty much going to outsell both of them. Will be right at there with both systems because of stock, shortage, supply, blah, blah, blah. We already know all of that. Now, Dr. Serkan Toto from Kantan Games also says that Nintendo will launch a, quote, beefed up 4K Switch model during its next financial year, which begins in April 2021. So I'm not so sure if I feel him on that one. I think that there could be some DLSS, which make it look like it's like an upscaled or AI simulated 4K, but I'm thinking that's what he generally means when it comes down to that. So, quote, everybody expecting the Nintendo Switch to run out of steam in 2021 is in for a bitter disappointment, he said. The Switch will be the best-selling console this year as well, driven by more first-party games, a hardware refresh, and the device having developed into a lifestyle product for the mass market over the course of 2020. So Matt Piscatello, who I also follow on Twitter, he's a pretty cool dude as well. He also talks about this, and he says, despite the launch of the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series consoles, it will be the Nintendo Switch that ends up selling the most units of console hardware in 2021. I will go a step further and suggest that this will be driven by the content and promotional efforts rather than the release of a new iterative model and all of that. So yeah, it makes sense to me. I think that the games are going to be there. We obviously know about a few of them. We see a lot of third-party exclusive stuff like Shin Megami Tensei 5, Monster Hunter Rise, which we talked about here. Third-party stuff mixed in as well with Persona 5 Strikers. You have Bravely Default 2, which is a first-party game, third-party developed, but first-party game. So I mean, there is a lot of cool stuff that's on the horizon that we already know about. You know, Super Mario, that's also going to be coming as well. 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. So that's another big game that's pretty much going to be a new 3D Mario title for the majority of Switch owners, because most people didn't play Super Mario 3D World. That is one of the lower selling 3D Mario games, mainline 3D Mario games, because it was on the Wii U, which is Nintendo's lowest selling main home console of all time. So, I mean, it makes sense that Super Mario 3D World is probably going to be extremely huge for Nintendo and help snowball that momentum. And like a lot of this stuff is in February, so I think that Nintendo's going to get that month out of the way, and then next month, that's going to be the end of the financial year. They're going to talk about stuff there, and then man, it's going to be a free fall of information and content and lots of stuff. I talked about on my channel recently with a video that there is a rumor about Fire Emblem, a remake and everything like that. So I definitely think there's going to be a lot of stuff to look forward to this year. Nintendo's going to have a big year. So what are you guys' thoughts on this when it comes down to everything that we discussed, from Nintendo acquiring next level games, Monster Hunter Rise, and of course what these analysts are saying, Nintendo Switch 2021? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Check out the links in the description. We've got Twitter. Going to give us a follow on there. Stay up to date on all the latest gaming news and information. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you can. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you for the next one. Peace.